Welcome to Sidekicks, where we take a detour with your favorite authors and learn more about their pastimes, pet projects, and favorite passions. And I'm so excited to welcome Wendy Walker today. Wendy is the acclaimed author of the psychological suspense novels All Is Not Forgotten, Emma in the Night Before, and her upcoming release, Don't Look for Me. Her novels have been translated into 23 languages and top bestseller charts both nationally and abroad. Thank you so much for being here today, Wendy. I'm so excited to talk to you about your passions.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to be talking about something other than the pandemic and everything going on, but to focus on individual passions and things people have been doing in their lives. It's nice.
So I'm so
Yeah.
excited. And um, so tell us what's been your focus lately? What's been your passion? What is something that you've fully embraced and um, tackled during these crazy times?
So I think like everybody else, I started out with all of my kids coming home and being home full time.
Mhm.
And then I did all the usual things. I started cleaning my house top to bottom. I, foraged for toilet paper. I, stocked up on that. I wipes and made my own, hand lotions, sanitizers, and really focused on taking care of myself, getting a schedule, working out. We added to our gym in the basement, got a rowing machine, like before everything shut down. So we were sort of set up. And then we all hunkered down. So I have 3 children and they're all boys, and 2 were away and they moved home. And really then it became about parenting, which has been, I'm a single mom, and their dad has always been very involved, but because he was having a new baby, he had to quarantine himself. And so it really became about, parenting my kids inside the walls of this house when they were at a time in their lives when they should have been out building their own lives. So it was like this new adventure in parenting for me and for them as well. And I really focused on that and tried to think of how I could be a good parent to them, and also finding the silver lining in it and seeing the things that the second chances, in a way that, oh, we never got to talk about this, or we never got to talk about that. And I was always so busy getting them out the door, getting them ready to go out the door, that as they became adults, the focus wasn't on the conversations. It was about just getting them, shored up and then, okay, goodbye. And all of a sudden they were home. So it was, it's been a lot of adjusting to parenting styles and finding silver linings, and just dealing with all of that, those types of things. So
Well, and I'm in a similar situation in the sense that I have 3 adult kids, and 2 are at college, and one has now she's back, but for the bulk of the time has been home with us. And it is you have these dreams and hopes that you want them to fly the nest, and you want them to be able to experience all these new things, and then they're back and they're missing it, but it's mixed feelings because you're so glad they're with you and you have your eyes on them, I guess is what how I feel. And so my approach has kind of been too, like when they can come home, the ones that have not moved back home, it's like you want a safe place for them to land. It's like it's such a crazy world
yeah,
out there, and when they do come home, you want to just create this special place. I love that you talk about being able to do some of the things you hadn't been able to do and talk about because of busy lives. Do you have any other examples of that? I know you mentioned, more family dinners and.
So there were a few things. So I noticed that I had done a really poor job of teaching my kids how to cook and do laundry and clean, because as you probably know, it takes a lot less time to just do it yourself than to actually show someone else how to do it. And it's amazing the things that we take for granted now, like how to, clean a toilet, how to how to do the laundry, how to cook a hamburger on the stove, which seem very intuitive, but they're actually not. What heat do you put it on, and do you defrost it first, and how do you do that, and what cleaners do you use, and just these very basic life skills. So I actually use the time to do like a life skills um, camp, if you will, at my house. And they were like totally into it. They wanted to learn because they had already been out in the world realizing all the things they didn't know how to do. So they were very eager actually to learn how to do their own laundry and learn how to fold a shirt and make a hamburger on the stove and all these things. So we're still not up to the cleaning the toilets part, but we're working towards it. But they've been it's been a really great opportunity, and they've totally embraced it. And then the other thing is, we have dinners, maybe not every single night, but most nights, we're not really going out to restaurants that much. And so, we just sit down, we go outside to the patio. And what I'm finding is that we're having conversations that about whatever is happening in the moment. So a YouTube video will pop up, and then we'll start talking about that, or TikTok. So we had this whole conversation about whether I should use TikTok to promote my books, and I gotta, oh no,
We had that conversation too.
You're not allowed on TikTok. And I was like, what? And apparently I'm way, way, way too old for TikTok. But these were the things that, these sort of side conversations that when you only see your adult children for a quick dinner or holidays when everything is crazy and everyone's home, you have some conversations, but they're not in the moment. They're sort of catch-ups, catch-up conversations about where your kids are and what they've been doing and how the past few months have been. And when you're in the moment with them as adults now, and you're really getting to know them in a way that you wouldn't otherwise. And so that's been the silver lining, is having these dinners and even just hanging out in the house during the day, everybody doing their own work. And then somebody will come out and say, oh my gosh, did you see this thing on the news or whatever? And we'll start talking about it. And all of a sudden I know their opinions on things, which I may not have known before. And then I get to express my opinions, which had never come up, so they never knew how I felt about certain things. So it's been that's been the silver lining, I think.
That's great. And such a, that shift in dynamic between parent and child to parent, but seeing them more as individuals and almost, dare I say, friends, because you get to know them. And it's a whole different dynamic. I love that.
Yeah, it's really been great. And I feel torn, because I know I'm not the person they should be having these conversations with. They should be out with their peers and building those relationships. And so I know that that's coming, and one of them is already back at college, and the other one is starting to move into the city with his job, even though it's still online. And then my youngest is going to go back to high school next week.
Oh, good luck.
In class. So we'll see. Hopefully that will stick, because they really miss each other. The friends.
Yeah. And we talk about how hard it was adjusting to the pandemic and getting used to that new normal. And now we're kind of having to do it again, because I sent my youngest off again, and it's a whole nother layer of it. To think about and missing them, and
and the worry now. My son has been back for 2 weeks, and already half of his apartment building is either sick or tested positive. A couple of his roommates, same thing. So no, he's already been tested twice in 2 weeks because of proximity and slight symptoms. And so it's really it's very different than it was last year when I dropped him off, and it was just all excitement and all good things. And now I mean, still excitement and good things for him because he's, I think enjoying being around his friends, but back here, it's a lot of worry. It's
Yes.
very different. It's like you want them to be out in the world and living their lives, but now there's an added risk and fear that
Right.
we didn't have before. That, yeah, I definitely, 4 a.m. wake ups, a lot of those, a lot of anxiety. The way I've been thinking about it is that I feel like everybody, like our cup of anxiety is completely full
Mhm.
all the time, just because we just don't have any sort of foundational security anymore that we're going to be safe, that we can go outside and be safe, and that, you know, the world is going to be okay.
Right.
That's not really there. And it just, I think, creates this anxiety that's really, really high. And so there's not much room for other stuff to happen.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
How do you combat that anxiety? You talked about taking care of yourself and working out, and is that a big part of what you do, or?
Yeah, it's, boy, I wish I had a really good answer for that, that would help other people, but I really haven't. It's been muddling through working out,
Mhm.
absolutely, like almost every day, if not every single day, and setting goals. So I've, set these like physical goals for myself that are completely random, but it gives me something to work towards and takes my mind off of other things. So I've been doing yoga for, 12 years, and now I'm determined to finally master like a handstand in the middle of the
Yeah.
room. So I'm really, really close. And just, I lost 10 pounds, and I'm just trying to get stronger and feeling like I'm making my body stronger. There's something about that that's like appeasing my fight and flight instinct that's like raging all the time. um Talking to friends, seeing my little pod of friends, that we're sort of just seeing each other, helps a lot, just to talk to people. What's been hard for me is that I'm promoting and not writing.
Right.
And so I had a brief stint this summer where I was writing an Audible original piece, which is coming out in October.
Mhm.
And that escape was amazing, to be able to completely lose myself in writing, and just give my brain like a little bit of space away from these thoughts. But when you're promoting, it's busy work, but it doesn't completely pull you out of the present. So I don't know. I'm, watching, trying to find good shows to binge. I have my little snacks that I like. Like, I'm just like, whatever I can do to add little bits of pleasure throughout the day. But I don't know. I haven't found the answer, honestly. But I think that self care, which I know is like a word everybody hates right now, but whatever that means for an individual, what brings you a moment of happiness throughout the day, a small moment of happiness, and that changes the sort of chemistry that's going on in your body and your mind. Add some endorphins, add um, you know, some distraction, like really deep distraction. But other than that, I haven't found an answer.
That sounds like really solid, good advice. And talking about, um, you have a book coming out into the world, and I'm so
So,
excited about it. So, Don't Look for Me. And Publishers Weekly says distinctive, well-developed characters complement the skillfully paced plot, excuse me. This moving look at the bond between a mother and her children reinforces Walker's place at the top of the genre. Wow. What a rave review from Publishers Weekly. Can you give us a brief snippet into
yeah.
your newest book and what to expect?
Yeah, so this book is about a mother and her daughter. Molly Clark is the mother, and she it's sort of a cold start at the beginning of the book. She's driving back from visiting her son at boarding school. It's 5 years to the day of her youngest daughter's accidental death when she was 9 years old. So she's got that on her mind. She carries a lot of guilt from that accident and the part that she played in it. Her son was not very nice to her. Her daughter is 21. Her life has fallen apart. Everything is spiraling. Everything is out of control. And she's driving these back roads far from home The storm is coming. She's just had it. Like it's so interesting. I wrote this book over a year and a half ago, but all of these themes of anxiety are in this book. She's emotionally overloaded with all of this pain, and she runs out of gas. She goes to the nearest gas station. It's closed, and she just has this thought that she's going to just to walk away. And there's this road, it's just leading off to nowhere. And she's just so tired of carrying these burdens. And she feels like her family would be better off without her. So she walks away. And by the time she sort of snaps out of it and tries to make it back, she's in real danger with the storm. So she takes a ride from a stranger in a truck. Sorry, that's my dog wandering around. I can like ask my kids to be quiet, but my dog doesn't listen to
No,
me.
same here.
But the Coco, there you go. But the man in the truck has a little girl with him, so she feels safe getting in because he's a family man, and he seems to be out just getting supplies for the storm. And of course, she doesn't go to safety. She is abducted. So you're with her, you're with Molly during this time. And then the other narration starts 2 weeks later with her daughter, Nicole, who gets not anonymous, she gets a new tip about her mother being seen getting into this truck. So they'd given up. They thought she'd walked away and really just couldn't be part of the family anymore and needed space or time, and they'd given up on the search. But her daughter never really believed it and decides to go looking for her in this very eerie, remote town. So it's a very atmospheric book, and it deals with a lot of emotional pain from what this family has been through, but also the bonds that connect mother and daughter, and how that brings them both out of their grief and their suffering as they are faced with this horrific situation of one being really kidnapped and imprisoned and the other one looking for her. And so it's got a lot of action and a lot of page turning stuff, but then it has a lot of emotional backstory and an emotional connectivity between mother and daughter.
I cannot wait. You sold me, and we are all going to be running out to pick up "Don't Look for Me," which is out very soon. And thank you so much, Wendy, for being here today. It's been such a treat to catch up with you.
Thank you for having me, and I hope everybody stays safe and healthy.
Thank you.